All right, so UFC Fight Night, Sean Strickland versus Alexander Hernandez comes on at February 21st at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas, and I'm going to go over every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my prediction and breakdown for mostly every single fight because I do not know most of these fighters. I do have to be honest. With it being a fight night, they're really going to be putting up the prospects that have been coming from the Contender Series, from Tough, coming from the regional scene. So most of these fighters, I don't know the history specifically about each fighter, but at the same time, I'm going to give my best prediction to every fight. I think last week I was, what was it, 13 fights on the card. I think I was like 7-5, 7-5, 7-6, or something like that. I definitely didn't get the fucking main event right, which I was kind of mad about. But either way, I mean, this one's going to be an interesting one. A really good main event with a couple of okay main card ones. But the fact that it is in a populated arena rather than this stupid UFC Apex that they have, this is going to be a good card. So we're starting off with Juliana Miller versus Carly Judice. For the first fight, I'm going to have Carly Judice winning by 29-28 decision. Now, you do see the record, 5-2, 5-3. You do think to yourself, oh, she doesn't have the experience. The thing is that she's had longer fights in the cage than Juliana Miller, as far as I know. From the research that I've done, aka 4 minutes of my time in the restroom taking a poop, I've come to the conclusion that Carly Judice just seems to have more of a grit throughout the fight, whereas Juliana Miller, if she doesn't have plan A or plan B solid, and she's able to get through with that, she kind of crumbles throughout the fight. So I'm going to go Carly Judice, 29-28 decision. And now we are up to the second fight on the card. Jordan Levitt versus Yair Delval. Yadir Delval. I'll just call him Delval. So in this one, I'm going to have Jordan Levitt. You do see the 10-0. You think, oh, this guy's going to be great. One thing is, though, that can be deceiving. Most of those can be regional wins. Some of those could be UFC wins. But Jordan Levitt, though, has been up against great competition. With it being in the featherweight division and with him being used to being at 155, that is a bit of a scare to me. But at the same time, Jordan Levitt has been in there with a couple of really great veterans. I think he was also in there with Ilya Taporia. If I can just check real quick. Let me just check. Load more. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he lost it. He lost to Patty. Yeah, it was Patty he was up against. Yeah, he lost to Patty. But in that fight, he was really good. He was really good during that fight. Now, if I had to say how this fight would play out, it would probably be the fact that Yadir would go on the aggressive front foot. He wants to put on a statement. As it goes on, it's going to be going towards the fence. Jordan Levitt's going to be up against the cage. He's going to reverse the position, be able to take him down, and then from there be able to work on the ground. Probably go into the second round where, DeVal's being able to, defend a couple of the takedowns. Jordan Levitt's not really finding that much success, but I can see in the third round, that's where Jordan Levitt's really just going to have his presence, his pressure up against the cage. He doesn't have really good offensive wrestling, but up against the cage, he's able to kind of finesse a guy down into the ground. So I just feel as though Jordan Levitt, although going down a weight class to featherweight, I feel like he's going to be able to win this, probably by 29-28 decision. All right, so now we got Phil Rowe versus Jean-Paul Lebosnoyeni. I have no idea. He is making his debut, 9-2. Quite a bit of reach and height difference. Jesus, I would have never thought that in the welterweight division. Now, the only thing that I do worry about this with Phil Rowe is the fact that he is very patient, and that is sometimes to his own demise. There were a couple of fights where he really just tries to find his range throughout most of the round. By the time he finds his range, he's either been A, knocked down, B, hurt, or C, it's the end of the round. And then it restarts again. So unless Jean-Paul can get his, I wouldn't even say grappling maybe. I don't know about Jean-Paul I'm just going to go Jean-Paul, fuck it. I haven't seen much of him. It is going to be his debut, 9-2. I don't know where he was from before, but I don't see the height difference and the reach difference. 8 inches of reach. That is 3/4 of a foot long from Subway. You put a Subway right in front of your face. You put 3/4 of that. That's the extra arm length you got to get past. Now, leg reach, that's a little different, but the reach and the height is going to be something where I feel as though Phil Rowe is going to be able to find his range earlier than what he's used to and is able to put him away most likely second round. I want it to be a second round because I do not want this to be a drag him out war because I don't feel like it's going to be great if it goes to that. Next up, we got Ramiz Brahimaj versus Puneli Soriano. I got, honest to God, a little bit of bias, but I'm going to go Puneli Soriano. He's had a couple of really good fights. Brahimaj has had a couple of stinkers here and there. He is a fighter. He is there to fight, but he is also there to be hit. And Puliano Soriano has a really good high guard, really good boxing. Only thing I worry about is his grappling up against a guy like Brahimaj. I think, who did Punari go up against? Yeah, it was up against Veretnikov, and that was a absolute, I don't want to say stinker, but I mean, it was a technical fight. So I see Pulinari Soriano getting this done. First round KO, second round sub. Ooh. Next up, we got Nora Cornell with amazing tattoos versus Jocelyn Edwards from Panama. Here come the dogs. They're barking. So in this one, I'm going to have Jocelyn Edwards. I think she's going to... I'm just going to scroll through this real quick. This is probably going to be a 10-minute video. I got Jocelyn Edwards on this one. Although you see 16-6, I do feel as though she has a little bit more experience in this. The kickboxing of Nora Canol is going to cause a couple of problems, but 3 inches of reach advantage, an inch of leg reach at bantamweight, I see as though Jocelyn Edwards is going to get past this. Do I see her going into the top 15 after this? No. She needs like one more fight, but I do see her being a really good prospect, although 16-6. Next up, we got Luis Groulet versus Alden Correa. I'm going to go... I'm going to go Alden Correa. Although one more loss and one no contest, the 3 inches of height, the 3 inches of reach, and half an inch disparity on legs, I see this going Correa's way. I don't know either of these fighters. I just see it based off the record, the fact that he's off of a win. This guy's off of a loss to who? Aguilar. So, I mean, no, I got Correa. Correa's second round KO. All right, so we got Ode Osborne versus Alibi Idris. It's going to be a flyweight bout. Usually, Ode Osborne switches between flyweight and bantamweight. I wonder how this weight cut's going to go. But I will say I do have the Kazakhstan in this one. You know, an inch less of height, you know, way less reach advantage. But he's more solid of a fighter, and he's been at 125. He's known to be at 125. The weight cut to 125 is the same, always has been the same, always will be the same. With Ode Osborne going back and forth. Because I think he fought against, who was it? Steve Erceg? Was it Steve Erceg he was up against? Yeah, Steve Erceg. It was at bantamweight, which was crazy. But, I mean, it's one of these things where it's like, you see the record. If there's a little bit of a disparity, it's kind of a 50-50 fight, but you can kind of see where it goes. If you want to put money on a huge upset, go Ode Osborne, but I'm going to be going Alibi Idris. Second round KO. Next up, we got Chidi Ninjakwani versus Carlos Lille. I'm going to go... See, this is a bad one. See, most of the fights on this card, it really just comes down to, is this guy going to show up? Is Chidi going to show up to the fight? If he shows up to the fight, he can beat anybody. The only thing is he doesn't show up every fight, as you can tell. I don't know, 4 inches of reach advantage. 6 inches of... I gotta go Chitty. Unless it was to go to the ground, I think Chitty has it. I think he's able to put people out. Although it's coming off of a loss, he's also coming off of a loss. It is in the U.S. He's from the U.S. It's going to be in Houston. Yeah, no, I got Chitty in this one. All right, and so now we're on to... Is this the prelims? That was the prelims, and this is the main card. So this is the main card of a fight night during the Paramount deal. During the Paramount deal, the opening fight is Michel Pereira versus Zachary Reese. Lord have mercy. I mean, I get it. It's a fight night, but like, bro, Michel Pereira tires out every single fight, except for the one with Hernandez, which has actually aged very well, considering the fact that Hernandez is headlining a card. But here's the thing, is just, do I see Michel Pereira knocking out Zachary Reese? No. No, I don't. Another thing I will say, though, is the weight is a difference. If he makes weight at 185, I think he's got this. If it's a catch weight, it's a 50-50. If they both make weight... yeah, I got Zach Reese. I got Zach Reese on this one. I feel like Michel Pereira is just too much of a is he gonna show up type of fighter. He's got a capoeira background, so it's legitimately one of those if I can hit it type of thing. If he can get a spectacular knockout, that's great. But he gets those like 1 every 5 fights. So I'm gonna go Zach Reese, decision 29-28. So we got Jacob Smith versus Josiah Harrell. I believe Josiah Harrell, this is going to be his debut. He's coming up in short notice up against Jacob Smith. Both 11-0, which is great to see. But I feel as though, and we all know, look at the body type. Look at the body type. We all know where we're going. No, I'm kidding. Jacoby Smith. I'm going to go Jacoby Smith. Probably first round knockout. I think he's going to find his reach. He's going to be able to use his power. Who's he even? Yeah, I was about to say. So he is well-rounded. He is very well-rounded. 3 first-round finishes. So that's the other thing, too. 3 first-round finishes in an 11-fight career is a little... ugh. Because then it's like, are you able to knock out Jacob Smith? No. Do I think he's going to be able to out-decision him? Maybe. Like we did see that against Malcolm Wellmaker in that fight. So, I mean, it could happen. But I am going to go Jacob Smith because I'm pretty sure he's going to be a massive favorite in this. So, yeah, I'm going to go Jacob Smith. Up next, we got Sergey Spivak. A master manipulator on the ground against Ante Delija. Very nice fighter. Very good. Coming from Croatia. And Spivak coming from Moldova. Alright, I'm done with that. They're both 6'3". You know, there's going to be a bit of a weight difference in this. You know, Sergey Spivak is one of the old types of heavyweights that blob up to 250, 260, try to get as much weight as they can to just powerhouse through this. Whereas Ante Delija, 237, almost a Stipe Miocic type of build. I don't want to say build, but like weight management. Stay light on the feet, being able to stay nimble. Almost Jailton Almeida-ish. You know how that went, though. But I see Ante Delija getting this done, in all honesty. I mean, Sergey Spivak doesn't exactly have any striking game. He has a really great judo background, so he might be able to get a submission, but Ante Delija, although not a great grappler, is a better grappler than most of the heavyweight division, which is really saying something. So, if he's able to find an underhook that's better than 70% of the heavyweight division. Dude, 70 to 80% of the heavyweight division will have arms over the shoulders to stop a takedown, inviting the hips the entire time. Ante Delija, if he's able to figure out at least where to put his hips and at least how to put it in an underhook, drive underneath, and get out of the cage, I really think he's going to win this. I think he's going to win this by second round KO. Maybe by decision, just because I could see Sergey Spivak gassing out and then Ante trying to put on the finish and then not being able to. So, I mean, either way, it's just, this is the second fight on the main card. Lord. Next up, we got Malik Quazel Costa versus Dan Ige. I'm going to have Dan Ige on this one, although 3 inches of height difference. The reach is the same, little bit of leg reach, but Dan Ige has been in there with dogs. Absolute dogs. He came in at short notice and went up to 155 to fight Diego Lopez, for crying out loud. He stepped up on, I think it was like 20 hours notice. So, I mean, it's one of those things. He's not a great fighter. You know what I mean? He's not going to wow you with, a spinning cartwheel kick or a back kick to the liver or something like that. He's a precise boxer, really good with his jab, like just a fighter type of guy. If Costa is able to go past Ige, definitely in the top 15, which is, I hate to say this about Dan Ige, but Dan Ige is kind of the gateway to the top 15 now. What is he? Is he even ranked? I think he might be ranked. What is he ranked? Number 14. Yeah, I was about to say. With this loss, he'll be out of the top 15. So, I mean, he's kind of at the point where he's the gateway. Anybody who beats him is in the top 15. Anybody who beats him emphatically gets like top 10. And whoever does it spectacularly with like a spinning elbow or something gets like top 5. Like, that's where I see Danny Ige. In almost the same way I'd see Jeff Neal, who's going to be later up on this card. So, I mean, I have Danny Ige in this one because I don't think Costa is going to be able to get that type of pressure that he looks for. And so I feel like it's not going to work out for him. So I got Danny Ige. I'm going to go decision 29-28. All right, up next, Jeff Neal versus Uros Medic. Now, I have seen Uros Medic's career firsthand, because I did not realize this until Uros was first in the UFC. But when I found out that Uros Medic was, so he's known as the Doctor, Serbian born, but he trained and fought out of Alaska. This man was in ABJJ. Let me just Where is it? Yeah. He trains out of here. ABJJ. That's the same exact place that I was training for 3 months. I mean, I didn't do much. So, like, I've seen this guy fight. And he is real good. My thing is he good enough to beat Jeff Neal? Is he good enough to be in the top 15 of the welterweight division? Do I think he could go on to be in the top 5? Yes. If luck doesn't go bad, you know what I mean? Because it's like every fight Medic has been in, he has been knocked down. Like, I remember there was the one fight versus Muslim Salikov. He won in the first round, but he got dropped in that fight. When he lost against Soriano, which is kind of weird, the fact that Soriano's early on the card, even though he beat Medic. But either way, Like he got knocked down beforehand, and it was a bad TKO loss. I think it was up against Erniba or Soriano. Like, he's a very 50-50 fighter. Is the Uros Medic from, what was it, the Contender Series? You know, from AFC in Alaska. Like, is that Uros Medic going to show up? I think it will for the first round and a half. The only thing is that Jeff Neal has been in there with absolute veterans and killers. He's been in there with Shavkat. I think he was in there with what? MVP. He was in there with Protez, Ian Gary, Shavkat, Vicente Luque, Neil Magny, Thompson, fucking Mike Perry. Like, he's up against killers. Bilal Muhammad before he was champion. Now, he's been on either a win or a loss in those, obviously. You know, lost to Thompson, lost to Luque, lost to Rachmanov, lost to Gary. My thing is, I don't see Uros Medic being that guy. You know what I mean? I don't see him being the same as Protez. I see him being around the same as maybe a Jeff Neal. You know? A Jeff Neal, like maybe an Ian Gary 2 fights ago. Like, he's good, but like he is a very interesting man. He is a man that people hate to gamble with because he is a gambler himself. So in this, I'm going to use my bias. I'm going to go Uros Medic. I'm going to go decision 29-28, but I think it's going to be slobber knock him. I think Jeff Neal is going to put hands on him. It's going to be a rough fight. And, I mean, I'm going to hate it if Uros loses. But, I mean, it's also one of those things, I got to be honest, Alaska does not have that many great fighters. I'm just going to say it. Because, like, if you're from Alaska, you have, like, one, maybe two MMA organizations you can go to. That's Solid Rock, and that's AFC. That's AFC in Anchorage and Solid Rock in either, I think it was Palmer or Fairbanks. And those are, I'd say, amateur to, like, amateur of amateur. Like, it's not a place where you're going to see people from the PFL. It's not a place where you're going to see people from Bellator. You're going to see people coming from a 9-to-5, going straight into it, and then going back to their job right after, you know? Is a man like Uros Medic, who's doing this full-time now, going to beat a person like Jeff Neal, who has been doing this full-time for a long time? I think so. So I'd say decision 29-28. Next up, we got Anthony Hernandez versus Sean Strickland for the full card, which is, once again, Lord Almighty. All right, so Sean Strickland, I think, going off of that loss against DDP. Yep, DDP, which was a back-and-forth fight. Anthony Hernandez getting that win up against Dolidze, and then a couple of other really good fights. It's going to be a bit of a stand-up fight. It's going to be a boxing fight. There's going to be a little bit of trash talk coming from Sean Strickland. I think he's going to be coming out very aggressive-ish. You know how he does with his Philly shell. He'll come forward, plodding along, throwing out his jab. But here's the thing, is that Sean Strickland, I believe, is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. So my worry is if Anthony Hernandez is able to use his offensive wrestling, is Sean Strickland able to use his jiu-jitsu to either reverse the position, scramble to a better position, or use that jiu-jitsu and part of his wrestling background to keep himself up on the feet? If he keeps himself up on the feet, I think Sean Strickland's going to get this done with his boxing and movement probably within the first 3 rounds. But if Anthony Hernandez is able to mix in both the grappling and the striking aspect, which he is really good at doing, almost like a Marab, then I see it going Anthony's way. I don't see Sean Strickland being able to go 5 rounds doing both grappling and striking. I think most of the time, whenever you see Sean Strickland in the gym or whenever you see him training in the UFC PI, he's always doing stand-up. So I have Sean Strickland winning this fight, knockout, 3rd round. This is an alright fight night. We got a couple of good ones coming up later on, but with that, I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.